In these few moments we'll just look at personal goal setting, and then we'll look at all of these objectives highlighted here, and then we will be handing over to the next speaker. All right. Okay, so can we make this a little interactive? I have some questions I would like to ask. First of all, I would like to ask the question, what is a goal? And secondly, I would like to ask, what is, where do goals come from? What really prompts us to set goals? And number three, I would like to ask, what's the difference between a vision and an ambition? Or perhaps what's the difference between a purpose and ambition? Please feel free to share with us. If you wish to give a voice, please feel free, raise your hand, and we will hear from you, and then we'll continue. Please, if you want to give a voice, just raise your hand and tell us what you think is a goal. Another person could share with us what you think is the source, what motivates us to set goals. And then another person could share with us what's the difference between a vision and an ambition. All right, so I have Mr. Joseph. Mr. Joseph, are you practicing how to raise your hand and bring it down? Okay, so please, can we just make it fast? What is the goal? Then secondly, what is the motivation towards goal setting? And then, or why do we set goals? And then thirdly, what's the difference between a vision and an ambition? All right, so I have Honorable Patrick in the house. Welcome, sir. Please kindly unmute and let's hear from you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Good day, sir.
A goal is a desired outcome.
Okay.
Or objectives of, as it's an intended objectives of a particular, let's say, depending on what you are looking at. Let's say personal development, for example. What the goals of my personal development is to obtain courses that enhance my capability, belong to a professional body, and also to participate in contributing to knowledge sharing.
Okay, so what do you think are the greatest motivations towards goal setting?
Ambition.
Okay. So what's the difference between ambition and vision?
The difference between ambition and vision is that you have the ambition, but you need visions to get the goals. That means the modality. The vision tells the modality on how you can arrive at your goals.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Patrick. Sincere appreciations.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Let me see what we have in the chat room. It says a goal is aim at a desired result. Okay. All right, so I have two contributions. I suspect every other person is trying to find out, is trying to find the answer on the internet. Well, let's proceed. Okay, so please, the things I'm going to say this afternoon, I would like us to pay attention to them and then make sure we use them, right? Because what I'm going to be sharing, they are somewhat deep, so I will need us to pay attention to them so that we can understand. I may not really have to flip through all of these slides, but I just need us to pay attention. When you need to write, please write down. Okay, very, very important. Okay, so I would like to share a simple story. Maybe I'm not the only one that have come across this story. There is this man I know. Not that I know him personally, but I've read about him. I read one of his books. He's called Habakkuk. They say he's a Yoruba man. I don't really know, but they say his name is Habakkuk, right? So in his book that he wrote, in chapter 1 of his book, He started his chapter 1 with a very great lamentation. And this Habakkuk had a master. He believes that his master should be able to deal with his problems. So if he tells his master what his problem is, his master should be able to attend to his need. So Habakkuk said he has called upon his master, he has pleaded with his master, he has cried unto his master, and his master yet refused to answer. And he said that the country where he's living is full of evil. There is evil judgment, there are evil leaders, things are turning upside down, there are crises everywhere, and yet the master is not doing anything. So while he was yet crying to his master said, Habakkuk, wait, I have a plan of what I want to do. What I am going to do is going to be very marvelous. It's going to be something that if I do it, you will be so surprised. What I'm going to do is something that if anyone could tell you that I will do that, you will not believe it. Now, Habakkuk continued his lamentation. He said, but these our leaders are bad. They thwart judgment. They give evil judgment. They allow the evil people to rule, and they kill the righteous. And all of those things he kept saying. So all through his chapter 1 was full of lamentation. Then in chapter 2 of his book, he now did something that changed everything about his life. He said, I think he took our time to reason. And he said to himself, instead of complaining, I think it's better I stay a little longer with this, my master. Instead of complaining, can I find a way to rub mind with him so that we can fix this problem together? And he said, I will stand upon my watch and see what he will say to me and what I will answer when I'm reproved. And the master now began to answer him. He said, Habakkuk, first of all, write the vision. Make it plain, so that he that run will run with it. That's number one. And he said to Habakkuk, he said, yes, I am telling you about this vision, but wait, this vision is for an appointed time. Habakkuk, it may take time for this vision to come to pass. See that thing I told you earlier, that I will do something really wonderful, something really amazing. It may take a little time, but I will need you to be a little patient. Though it may take a little while, but just wait for it. It will surely come. And he continued by telling Habakkuk, he said, Habakkuk, but before this vision will actually come to pass, there is something you must understand. It will take a pure mind. It will take a clean heart. It will take a positive mind to be able to get to what I'm trying to do. And he concluded by telling Habakkuk, he said, Habakkuk, you need to be a just man. Let it not be that when I do this thing, you will now become the problem that you're trying to solve. And that was where his master stopped. And that was where the story of Habakkuk started changing from. So Habakkuk stopped complaining and Habakkuk started taking action. So if the master told Habakkuk what to do, Habakkuk then started taking those actions. Habakkuk started discussing more on finding solutions. Habakkuk started writing down his goals and started driving down his expectations. Habakkuk started dealing fairly with other people. Habakkuk started seeing the good in other people and stopped judging people in his own way. And Habakkuk started building some kind of self-motivation. Habakkuk started believing in himself and believing in the things that his master said he was going to do. But I sincerely believe that what the master was doing was to take Habakkuk from one kind of mindset that was keeping him constantly down to bringing him to another kind of mindset that would change his story for good. Now, this simple scenario from this case study shows what happens to us as individuals, as organizations every other day. You could barely pass by today without having to see people complain about leadership, complain about government, complain about the killings, complain about banditry, complain about terrorism, complain about. So we basically complain, but we don't ask ourselves about the solutions. And that is also typical to our own personal life. So we complain about not getting a job. We complain about not having the right pay. We complain about not having the right children. We complain about not having the right husband. We complain about not having the right siblings. We complain about not having the right king. We complain about basically everything. We complain about not having the right food. But those things don't really give us results. There is this saying that we become what we focus on. We become what we focus on. So whatever thing that is taking our attention, whatever thing that we keep ruminating over often becomes our realities. Okay, it all become our realities. So in this class, what we are going to do is to find a way to create a new mindset that will give us the kind of results that we want. Please, I will need you to understand me on this particular thing I'm going to say now. Goal setting, to have our goals delivered, we must make sure that our actions and reactions, they are the same. So we take positive actions and we give positive reactions. Did you get that? I will need you to write that down. If need be, you can write that down. If need be, you can write that down. For your goals to be delivered practically, your actions and reactions must be the same. So if you want to start having a positive side of life, you must give positive actions, or you must take positive actions and give positive reactions. And I'm going to give you an example, right? So let's say a case of Habakkuk. Habakkuk said, I will stand on my watch and see what he will say to me when I am reproved. So there is going to be a change from complaining to confronting. Habakkuk made the resolve to change from complaining to confronting. And one of the ways for him to confront his issues, that he was going to speak to those issues. So there was this other man. Okay, I know some of us know him. This guy, Femi Otedola. So I read about Femi on Forbes magazine some times ago, and I read an exclusive interview that Femi had. That exclusive interview, Femi revealed how he lost virtually all his investment on the sea because of a crash, shipwreck. So he lost practically everything on the sea. But there was something that kept him alive. He believed that he could still come back to life no matter what has happened. Though it seemed as though he lost everything, but he still believed that he can still walk himself up to where he used to be and even get better. And that was what happened. You know, some people could have the same situations and then complain virtually about it. Complain how the sea was turbulent, and then they are shipwrecked, and that was how they ended up coming to the level they are. I will repeat this again. Whatsoever thing we accept in a life becomes a reality. I will need you to also get to understand this I'm going to say. For your goals to become realities, please note this. You must set smart goals. You must set smart goals. And I'm going to explain that with time. You must set smart goals. Number two, you must believe in your goals. You must believe in your goals. Of course, before you believe in your goals, you must have believed in yourself, right? Then number three, you must live in your goals. That means you must be proactive in the things you do. You must live your goals. You must live your goals. You must live When I say live, I mean live, L-I-V-E. You must live your goals. Number 4, you must constantly speak about your goals. You must constantly, every day, every now and then, speak about your goals. Please, I need you to understand these things. I'm not sure they are part of these slides, but I need you to understand them. Your goals must be well written. If you must have your goals fulfilled, your goals must be well written, well arranged, well articulated, well written. I always encourage people, take the time to type your goals. Take the time to type your goals and make sure you post them everywhere, strategic enough that you can always see them. You know, I am taking our time to talk about this thing because the foundation of life is in the discovery of ourselves. And when we discover ourselves, we live to the fullest through the goals we set for ourselves. So life begins with understanding and discovery of our vision. And vision is sustained by continually setting goals and pursuing after those goals. Life begins, or vision is sustained by continually setting goals and then pursuing after those goals. Now, I would like to recommend everyone here. Just search through the internet. Just search Habakkuk chapter 1. Read Habakkuk chapter 1, read Habakkuk chapter 2. Just read it. It's a very good novel. You would like to read it. So read Habakkuk chapter 1, read Habakkuk chapter 2. You'll find what happened to Habakkuk. Now, the principle of success, I found it in Habakkuk chapter 2, just from verse 1 up to verse 5 or so. All right, so just read those lines and then find how those things can apply to your life. So all of these things I'm saying here, they are all replicated in that Habakkuk chapter 2 and from verse 1 to 5. All right, very simple, straightforward advice that can change your life for good. All right. Okay, so we must therefore pay attention to understanding our vision. Man's greatest undoing is to live without a vision. Man's greatest undoing is to live without a vision. When any man lives without a vision, he's grounded for life. If you don't want to become a beggar, if you want to live the life of a king, then you must realize, you must discover your vision and live to its reality. Live in full realization and actualization of your vision for existence. Now, I took time to draw up some differences between ambitions and vision. You know, ambition is that part of you, or that part of man that is always concerned with me, myself, and I. So it's much more concerned with personal success. Vision is much more concerned with others. Vision is much more concerned with how can I build myself to save others, to help others. That's one part of vision that is very, very genuine. Now, why vision sets you to, or why ambition sets you to become a competitor? Vision sets you to become a pace-setter. Did you get what I just said now? Why ambition sets you to become a competitor? Vision sets you to become a pace-setter. Vision sets you to become a trailblazer. Why ambition constantly makes you to compare yourself with one another. Compare yourself with others. Vision sets you on your own path, so you're not comparing yourself with anybody. Why ambition is a temporary pursuit to life, vision is a sustainable pursuit to life. There are several differences as regarding to ambition and vision. Now, one thing I found out in life is that most people are much more concerned with ambition, not vision. Most people are concerned much more with ambition, not vision. Now, if your goal for living, this is one of the acid tests to find out whether you're living a life of vision or you're living a life of ambition. If all you're doing is to show yourself like you've arrived, that is a true test of differentiating whether you are living a life of purpose or you're living a life of vision. When you're living for others to see that you've arrived, it's just ambition, it's not vision. A person that is after vision never sees himself as to have arrived anywhere. He is continuously pursuing. He is continuously running after the goals which he has set, which will not only make him better, but will also make others better. Remember, we said emotional intelligence help in national development. When we have people in a country that are visionary leaders or visionaries, it sets that kind of a country apart. Because you have people working to help others succeed. You have people working to help others stand out. You have people working to help others realize their goals, realize their dreams. Not that they are neglecting their own dreams and all of that. Of course, they are not, but they are much more passionate. Now, another true axis test to know whether you are a person of vision or a person of ambition is when you care more about what people will say about you. When you are much more concerned about what people will say about me, it's just a very clear indication that you're still living in the realms of ambition, not in the realms of vision. Vision doesn't really care about what people say. Vision definitely knows that, yes, it will take a little while before they understand what I'm doing. That's what vision is. Vision understands that, yes, it will take me some level of patience. All right? But ambition makes it feel like if I do it now, they should recognize it now. That's ambition. So this simple axis test should let us know whether we are living in ambition or we are living in vision. Now, when other people's lives, success, gets to be like poisonous to you, it gives you heart attack that someone else is succeeding. Perhaps in something you feel you should be succeeding and you're not at the moment and someone else is succeeding, then you begin to feel somehow. That's to show that you're much more ambitious than being a visionary. There are other several acid tests that we could go ahead talking about, but just these three could give us some kind of signals to know whether currently we are after ambitions or we are after vision. And there is nothing wrong with ambition, but it will become wrong if that ambition becomes ulterior, becomes negatively motivated. But my personal advice anyway is that we should move from the realms of ambition to the realms of vision. Your peace is in vision, not in ambition. You will almost lose your peace on daily basis if you're an ambitious person. You will always find yourself quarreling, fighting with people if you're ambitious. But if you're in the realm of vision, you'll find yourself collaborating with people. You find yourself partnering more with people. You find yourself brainstorming more with people. So why am I taking time to talk all about this? It is because the goals were set will determine whether we are ending up achieving our ambitions or achieving our vision. So that is very, very important. All right, that is very, very important. Now, I made a post the other day on Facebook, And I said, it is absolutely your fault if you get to become poor in this area we are. And I got some few comments. Some people say all fingers are not equal. Some people say, do you think those that are poor choose to be poor? Some people say, okay, because you're not poor, you think every other person cannot be poor, and all of that. You know, every man's belief is his reality. Every man's belief is his reality. There is nothing wrong that you were born poor, okay? Someone said it is not a mistake that you were born poor, but it's a mistake to remain poor. It is not a mistake that you were born poor, but it's a mistake that you should remain poor. And someone else said it is not a mistake to make a mistake, but it's a mistake to repeat a mistake. So your parents were poor, and then you feel like you should continue that dimension. I am not saying that you shouldn't decide whether to be poor or rich, but it's a decision. But what led me to making that decision or coming to that conclusion is that we have this constant saying that knowledge is power, right? And if you will agree with me, you will agree that we are now in an era where we have information, which is the basic knowledge fact at our fingertips. So if we have volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes of information at our disposal right now, and we are not making use of it, then we are the problem. You will agree with me that then we are primarily the problem. So the reason for our someone said that the reason for our poverty is because of our intellectual inability. Our poverty is tied to our intellectual inability. Poverty is tied to our intellectual inability. That's to say, poverty is the fruit of ignorance. Poverty is purely the fruit of ignorance. Poverty is purely a fruit of ignorance. And, you know, we have these people we call educated illiterate. So you can actually know, but not understand. I would like to recommend this book to everyone. Okay, two books I would actually recommend. My Vision by the Prince of Dubai. Please, I recommend everyone read that book. And then I will recommend this book, Success Strategies by David Oyedepo. Right, please feel free to read those two books. They are wonderful books and they can help. Success Strategies by David Oyedepo and My Vision by the Prince of Dubai. Please feel free, get those two books, take your time, devour them, read them, and understand them very well. Now, when I was going through these books, I understood something. I understood that you can actually have knowledge, but yet you are dying in abject ignorance. You know, but yet you are still inheriting the benefits of ignorance. Okay, you know, but you have not yet understood. So, for everyone to succeed, all of what we know, or part of what we know, we must not use every of what we know, just use a part of it. Part of what we know must be understood, and that understanding must be compelling enough for us to apply the knowledge. You know, we always say that just one idea is enough to rule your world. Just one idea, not ideas. Just one idea is enough for you to rule your world. Now, first thing first, discover your vision. That vision will give you some sort of ideas to run with, and those ideas will constantly put you on the table to set goals and how to achieve those ideas. And then you find your life changing shape. Now, I will say something here, and I will try to summarize this class. And the thing I will say is that until you change your mindset, your life will not change. If you need to write that down, please write it down. And if you don't understand it, please ask me a question. I will definitely explain. Until you change your mindset, your life will not change. So it takes a change mind to have a changed life. If all that you rely on, or all that you spend, and all that comes to you as finance is your salary, it's just your mindset, because your mindset is glued that you have to work for 30 days or work for certain days, and then you expect a return. So that's a mindset. And remember in the last class, in the first class, I told us it is high time we start transforming our salary to capital, right? Okay. Now, if your mindset is not changed, your life cannot change. And I told us something the other time that mindsets bring to us some levels of emotion. So what we call mindset change is just about emotional disruption. So you disrupt your emotions so that you could have some kind of life you want to live. Please, I would like to have a timekeeper so that I don't overstretch my time. So I am supposed to stop by 2 o'clock. So please, timekeeper, please, um, Mr. Patrick, can you please be my timekeeper so that if I, as I get to 1:45, please remind me so that I start wrapping up, please. Let me not blow off my time. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate for volunteering. Okay, so change your mindset and you change your life. Okay, I have this book here, and I said I will also recommend this book. Can you see this book? It is from John C. Maxwell, Thinking for a Change. There are several important things written in this book. I just got the book recently, so it's very cheap. From where I bought it, it's very cheap. It's 800 naira, so it's very cheap. So get this book. It will definitely change your life. It has formed our office training book for the month. All right, so that has been our training book for the month. So in this book, it talks about understanding the value of good thinking, realizing the impact of change thinking, then the mastering the process of intentional thinking. Then it looked at 11 thinking skills every successful person needs. And then it looks at acquiring the wisdom of big picture thinking. Of course, in the morning, when the first speaker, Mrs. Eze, was giving us the lecture, she advised us on big picture thinking, right? Then it also looked at unleashing the potential of focused thinking. It talked about creative thinking, talking about realistic thinking, talked about strategic thinking, spoke about possibility thinking, reflective thinking, popular thinking, shared thinking, unselfish thinking, and then they talked about what he called the bottom line thinking. And for each of these for each of the chapters, there is an appraisal tool, some appraisal questions that you answer to help you know whether you are really thinking right or not. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Please, these books I'm recommending, even if you're not interested in getting the materials we give out here, please feel free to get these books. All right. Get these books because you need to, we all need to start changing our mindset. All right. If you're comfortable with where you are, no problem. But I don't think after attending this class, you should be comfortable with where you are. The worst thing that can happen to you is to be the best in whatever thing you're doing right now. That's worst case scenario, all right? That you did not achieve much is that you should be the best in whatever you're doing right now. So if you're a consultant, you should be the best consultant right now. So if you are a counselor, you should be the best counselor right now. If you're a husband, you should be the best husband right now. So worst case scenario is that you should be the best in what you're doing right now. All right, so these things we are saying, they are not just for us to get knowledge, they are for us to read, understand them, and then feel free to apply them, all right? There are quite a number of books here that if I keep recommending them, we might not have all the time. But these few, I've recommended 3. I've recommended Success Strategies by David Oyedepo. I recommended My Vision by the Prince of Dubai. And I recommended Positive Thinking, or perhaps Thinking for a Change by John C. Maxwell. All right, just all of them they are very cheap for now, and you can get all of them. All right. Okay, so as I begin to round up, okay, as I begin to round up, let me now quickly go through these slides, and then we can invite the next lecturer. What is a goal? If you don't know where you are going, you are likely to wind up somewhere else. So That is a very important statement that we must put to heart. If you don't want to end up somewhere, please find where you're going and keep going there. What an individual is trying to accomplish through his or her behavior and actions, the purpose towards which an endeavor is directed, an end or an objective. That is a goal. Now, what is goal setting? What is goal setting? Goal setting is, in broad terms, is the process of deciding on something you want, planning how to get it, and then working towards the objective. Goal setting is not wishing or dreaming. It is something that is progressively worked towards. Goal setting is a process. It is not something that is decided on a whim. So it is a process. Now, I need to share something with us. Goal setting is a culture, right? It's a culture, right? So for some of us who are not conversant with goal setting, you will find that when you start setting goals, maybe you will start with setting one goal in a month, and then you start with setting one goal in a week, and then you start with setting one goal in a day, and then you start with setting goals daily, and then begin to follow up on that. Then it becomes a habit. It becomes a culture that you now live with. I can't imagine myself a day without knowing exactly what to do in that. I can't leave my house without knowing what to do. And I cannot be distracted until I finish what I'm set to do per day. In the same vein, I cannot enter a year without knowing what to do in that year. It is practically impossible for me now that I will now say 2021, what are you doing? I said, I will. No. We should be much more strategic. I think earlier this year we held a seminar on a workshop on strategic planning for business executives. I trust some of us attended that workshop. One of the acid tests to know that you're living without vision is when you wake up in a day and you don't know what you want to do. You run through the week and you cannot account for what you've done. You don't have a diary of your work schedule. There is a problem somewhere. There's a problem somewhere. There's a problem somewhere. So we must have a culture of planning. We must have a culture of goal setting. We must have a culture of continuous appraisals on our goals. That makes you a proactive planner. That makes you a high performance person. If I keep talking like this, I will take time. So what are the importance of goal setting? To achieve more in your lifetime, not just achieve more in your lifetime, achieve more in your business also. To improve overall performance in life, increase the motivation to achieve most out of life, increase your pride and self-satisfaction, improve self-confidence, improve self-motivation also, help to eliminate attitudes that hold you back and cause unhappiness. So when you set goals, it helps you to become much more relevant to yourself and the others around you. Then, what are the perils of not setting goals? When you don't set goals, what do you tend to face? You have living a passive life. So you take life as it comes. There is this saying that people say that, how do you cross the river? They say, when we get to the river, then we know how to cross it. That's a very passive way of living life. You already know that there is a river. Why don't you devise on how to cross the river before getting there? Now, one of the differences between ambitious people and visionary people is that ambitious people always want to get to the river before they cross it. And that's why they always act very agitated. They act like they are frustrated. They act like, I have to kill somebody before I move forward. No, it doesn't have to be that way. Visionary people, they cross obstacles without knowing. Because why? They've already devised how to cross obstacles. You know, living a life of vision automatically sets you to become a strategic person. Living a life of vision automatically sets you to live as a proactive person. Can I tell you something? I don't know how many of us have read this book, Good to Great. I think there are two wonderful books that were written by Dr. Collins. Those wonderful books helped me. They've been helping me. One is Built to Last, and the other one is Good to Great. All right. In one of the books, I think it was Built to Last. Of course, the stories in the two books are almost the same. The case studies are almost the same. But there was something I saw When he was talking about someone like Thomas Edison, Thomas Edison had 1,500 patents before he died. And those 1,500 patents were to be announced per year. So that means he had a 1,500 years plan before he died. That is, even after he is dead, his vision is still imparting lives. Now, I read about Henry Ford. Very crazy set of people. Henry Ford had a 1,400 years plan before he died. 1,000. So he was not, or perhaps they were not living lives as it comes. They already had a plan on how to fix life. If you want to be a change agent, then you must be ready to create the change that you want to see. You must be ready to be that change. You know, this one is sounded like motivation, but I trust you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Okay, so if you don't set goals, it is impossible to do any re-evaluation of yourself. We fall into trap of doing something just for the sake of doing something, and it is difficult to state why we are doing this or why we are not. We lose motivation because we are not challenged. It becomes easy to settle for maintenance mode instead of development mode. It is easy not to plan ahead. The emphasis becomes upon activity rather than output. You know, knowledge is power, right? Knowledge should be on development mode, not on maintenance mode. Some of us got our first degree, perhaps 20, 30 years ago. Nothing has been added. Some of us, the only training we've gone for are the ones that our companies paid for. We have not for once developed personal development plan for ourselves. That's disastrous. That means you want to stay on the status quo. You don't want to create any change. Nothing should happen anymore. I just want to be where I am. Now, without setting goals, it is difficult to plan ahead, and the emphasis becomes upon activity rather than output. Now, quickly, let's look at the types of goals. We have the short-term goals, we have the medium-term goals, and we have the long-term goals. The short-term goals are basically the daily activities that we, or the daily goals that we set, daily to weekly goals. Then you have the medium-term goals, which run a month, so maybe 0 to 3 months, according to some articles. They say short-term goals should be 0 to 3 months. Some said short-term goals should be 0 to 3 years. Some said medium-term goals should be 6 months to 1 year. Some said 3 years to 6 years. Some others have different things to say. And then the long-term goals, some said from 12 months and above, while some said 12 years and above, and other such. But where I'm actually going to is that your life assignment should determine which one should be your short-term goals, your medium-term goals, and your long-term goals. All right, you know, I always ask people this funny question. I say, when do you want to die? If you know exactly when to die right now, then it will help you to know which one should be your short-term goals, which one should be your medium-term goals, and which one should be your long-term goals. It's important to actually know when to die. Okay, just know when to die so that you don't die when you're not supposed to die. All right. What I'm saying is crazy, but it's good. Know when to die so that you don't die when you're not supposed to die. All right, know when to die. When you know the number of days remaining for you to live, you will be subtracting from your years, not adding to your years. All right, you know, those things that will say, I am 1 year older today. Actually, you just removed from your years. So you are degrading. You're not, your life is not really added, it is subtracted. Any day you add 1, according to our own understanding, is actually a subtraction, not an addition. All right, so we need to understand that. So if you do life by reverse engineering, as the case will be, you will know which of the goals will be your short-term goals, medium-term goals, and all of that. And then there are different aspects of goals. But what I will always advise people is that build portfolio kind of goals rather than building single unit kind of goals. So what do I mean by portfolio kind of goals? Your goals should be built on different aspects of life. All right, it shouldn't be one-sided. Like you don't just build career goals and say that's all. You don't just build family goals and say that's all. You don't just build health goals and say that's all. Your goals must be unified. So you must have different goals and then bring them together. That will give you much more of a portfolio kind of goals than single kind of goals. All right, so I may have to move through this. So how you get these materials, please feel free to read some of these goals. Working on goals setting. The first thing is that there should be a drive, and then there should be a dream. There should be some kind of developing on those dreams and then discussing, and then there should be a consistent desire. Number one, drive. You must have passion towards solving problem. And then you must identify the problem that you want to solve. And then you must develop the knowledge, you must develop the skills, you must develop the abilities, you must develop the team, you must develop the talent to help you solve those problems or meet up with your dreams. And then you must learn to chat with these people that you are dreaming about. Okay, you must learn to talk to your stakeholders, you must learn to chat with your partners, you must learn to chat with your mentors, you must learn to chat with your team members so as to find solutions to your dream. And then you must have consistent desire to solve problems, consistent desire to solve problems. All right, then the next thing there is working on your SMART goals, working on your SMART goals. All right, so I said goals should be smart. All right, I said goals should be smart. So number one is that your goal should be specific. By being specific, it means that it should not be vague. It should be clear and precise, easy to understand, easy to communicate. For instance, you say you're increasing your salary or you're increasing your income by 10% by the next 90 days. That is very simple to understand. So I want to increase my salary, or perhaps I want to increase my income by 25% or by 10% in the next 90 days. All right, so that's very simple, all right? So what are you doing? I'm increasing my salary or increasing my income by 10%. Now, that will give you the opportunity to define more focused activities to deal with. All right, then another thing is that your goals need to be measurable, all right? Your goals to be measurable. They need to be quantifiable, okay? They need to be quantifiable, all right? They need to be quantifiable. And you should know the dimension you've gone. You should know how far you've gone, all right? So if you say increase your salary by 10% or increase your income by 10%, if your income moved by 5%, additional 5%, that difference is already showing you the measurability of what you're trying to do. So it sets some kind of performance appraisal for you, all right? Then it should be achievable, right? One of the ways of setting goals is that you need to have some kind of development. So for you to set goals that are achievable, that means you should have skills, capacities, network that will help you achieve those goals. Let's assume that you set a goal to increase your revenue by 10% and you were able to do that in 90 days. And then all of a sudden, you're now setting to increase your revenue by 1,000%. No skills have changed, no knowledge has changed, nothing has changed, and you still want to use, you still want to keep pouring the new wine in the old wineskin. Obviously, that's not going to make any sense. You're going to end up getting frustrated. All right. Then the next one is that the goals must be relevant. Relevant to the vision of your life, relevant to your life purpose. Remember that thing we spoke about, the competencies of emotional intelligence. We had the personal competencies and we had the social competencies. And we said it is your personal competencies that drive your social competencies, or perhaps your personal relevance determines your social relevance, right? So in the same way, you should draw up goals that are relevant towards the full vision that you want to achieve, towards the full objective that you want to realize. And then lastly, your objectives or perhaps your goals should be time bound. Your goals should be time bound. Your goals should be time bound. If you've never learned to discipline yourself, you have to discipline yourself. No matter how good you are as a professional, if you don't understand the mystery of time, you are just wasting your talent. No matter how good you are as a professional, no matter what you know, if you don't value time, your life will remain behind time. If you don't understand how to manage time, you will remain behind schedule. So to make sure that you're in the right context of fulfilling life and purpose, please, you must make sure that you understand the principle of time management and use it effectively. So for goals to be smart, that means they have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, quickly, let's look at these two things, logic and creativity. Logic and creativity. Why logic is dealing with trying to make it work in order. Creativity is trying to disrupt the order. So why others could be doing logical thinking, others are doing creative thinking. Logical thinking is like popular thinking. It should be in this order. That's logical thinking. Creative thinking says, yes, it should be in this order, but we are changing it. We are disrupting it. When you are setting goals, you could either choose to set goals through logical abilities or through creative abilities. All right. So you could decide to think normally or you think abnormally. All right. So you could decide to think normally or you think abnormally. Now, quickly, let's look at what the root here. It said to determine what type of thinking you use, look at the 5 shapes and circle the one you instinctively find most attractive. So I have a square, we have a square, we have a triangle, we have a rectangle, we have a circle, and then we have a disordered kind of shape. So without reading any of them, which of them most attractive? Can I have your answer here in the chat room? Rectangle, square, triangle, circle, and the disordered shape. Square, rectangles, triangle, circle, and disordered. So let me see what you have there. Please, very quickly, what kind of shape attracts you the most? Is it square? Is it rectangle? Is it circle? Is it triangle? Or is it irregular shapes? So which one? Someone said rectangle. All right, please, can I get 2 more people so that we can see what your thought pattern is like? Okay, so someone else says circle. All right, someone else. Okay, circle. Does any other person have something else? We have rectangle, circle. Okay, so we have square, we have rectangle, we have circle, we have triangle, and we have disordered. Okay, so I think we have mostly rectangle and that. So let's see. For square, I said an extremely left brain and logical thinker. This type of thinker is normally very methodical and utilizes logic for his own sake. As a rule, he or she is quite able and prepared to work alone. That's the person that lacks square. So he wants it to follow the way it must be well arranged. It must follow due diligence. Okay, that's for the square person. Then the rectangle kind of person is a left brain also, but not extremely left and very logical. But in his case, he has more flexible. He's a little more flexible in his thinking and prefers to work as a team. Then you have the triangle. Is also a left brain and predominantly a logical thinker. This person uses logic to make a decision, provided it takes them or their opinion upwards and onwards. This person always aims to go forward. Then you have the circle. This person is from the right brain kind of thinking, and he's also a creative thinker. This person keeps rolling along and bouncing back, so no matter what happens to him, he's coming back. Then you have this disordered thought that is also in a square. Sorry, in a So half is a little balanced. The other one is very irregular. So you have an extremely right brain and creative thinker. This person can be the master of the unexpected and a snappy or unconventional dresser. So whichever be your own case, we could see what each of these means. All right, but does it mean that the square person is not a good thinker? It's not so. Does it mean that this last person is not the most relevant thinker? Is not so. What this is trying to help us show is that people think in different ways. All right, people think in different ways. Why some take time to get things done, some make it easier and take quicker duration to get things done. So a methodological thinker or an extremely left thinker, we want all things to be in order before he takes action or before she takes action. Why the extremely right brain thinker or the extremely creative thinker will be taking actions as he's thinking. So one is taking a lean approach to thinking and the other one is taking an agile approach to thinking. One is a disruptive thinker, one is a traditional thinker. All right? Okay, I guess we understand that. Now, 10 tips on setting goals. 10 tips on setting goals. Your goals must be ambitious but achievable. Make a list of your goals. Discuss your goals with your partner. Ensure that you set your own goals. Set deadlines for each goal. Carry with you your goals, the list of your goals. Be flexible when planning. Give up things that are barriers to your goals. Be careful with whom you share goals with. Start to visualize your goals. Very, very important. We spoke about visualization and success in self-motivation. Now, get goal setting actions. Number one, begin by writing a list of your overall goals. Break the list down into smaller sub-goals. Brainstorm in no particular order. Put this into logical order or sequence, but together, or perhaps put together your plan of action along with measurable timelines. Begin acting on your plan. Schedule time into your diary to make sure things happen. Amend the plan as circumstances changes. That means keep a flexible planning order. Then keep others informed of your progress. Reward yourself as the plan starts to become a reality. So importantly, it is good we keep on tab with our plans. On acting on your goals, try to visualize the outcome you are looking to achieve. How will it make you feel? Think about how you will feel if nothing changes. Begin working on your goals now. Do not let other people's negative thinking put you off. Think positive. Reward yourself when you achieve your goals. By the end of this class, we expect that your businesses should have changed level, your career should have changed level, your personal life should have changed level. If you're in this class and you don't have a job yet, by the end of this class, you should be able to get yourself a job. Not that we are giving you a job, you should also actually figure out how to get yourself a job. You must learn to balance your life by the end of this program, right? So you must take proactive steps to making sure that things are done for your own good. Now, achieving your goals, how do you achieve your goals? How do you achieve your goals? As I begin to round up, my time is flying so fast. How do you achieve your goals? The first we look at there is what an individual is trying to achieve. Number one, regulating one's effort. You are trying to achieve regulating our efforts so that we have the most desired result at the end of the day. Increasing one's persistence is one of the goals we want to achieve. Then encouraging the development of goal attainment strategies or action plans. That's also one of the goals we want to achieve. Then at the end of the day, we want to achieve directing one's attention to somewhere that we feel is profitable. So focus, we want to achieve focus. Now, what are the ways to achieve our goals? Number one is set huge goals. I will not take time to explain all of this again. Set huge goals, very big goals. You know, there is no goal that is impossible. But when you set goals that are not smart, they become impossible. In the next 30 years, can you become, or 30 years is too much. In the next 20 years, can you become just imagine the most impossible thing that can ever happen in your life if you were to do it now. Now, imagine if you were to do it in the next 10 years. Imagine if it were to be possible. The possibility is becoming much more if we give the right timing to our goals. So more often when we set huge goals, we want to achieve it now. Instead of following our goals through visionary approaches, we follow them through ambitious approaches. So that gets to frustrate us, all right? And that's not good. So goals need to be given the appropriate timing for them. All right, can I become the president of Nigeria in the next 15 years? The answer is yes. But can I become the president of Nigeria in the next election? The answer is no. I don't even have the network of people that will do that. I don't even have the political knowledge to do that. Or even if I say, let me go and start learning about politics right now, I will still have to practice in some kind of grassroots level before I'll begin to gain understanding. Now, listen, if they make me the president of Nigeria now, will Nigeria get better? The answer is no. Because I don't have the capacity yet to handle national matters. But if you call me for national advice, can I give? Yes. Advice is not instruction. So you need to understand that. But in the next 15 years, if you make me a president, will I get better? I'm 100% sure that I'll be better because I am building capacity towards that direction. All right, or I would have built capacity towards that direction. Now, the next thing is visualize your dreams and then transform your passion into a career. The next thing is overcome your fears. Don't ever let your fears overwhelm you. Overcome your fears. Build real wealth through self-education. Build real wealth through self-education. The knowledge that is applicable is the one that you actually pay for. Not that one that today company is paying for you, next tomorrow government is paying for you, the other day you're looking for who to pay for you. No. If you're not ready to invest, don't be ready to have returns on investment. It is not that you invest that will get return. If government is the one paying for your training, then they should be the one getting the return. If your employer is the one paying for your training, then they should be the one getting the return. But if you must gain your own return, then you must be ready to invest in personal development, in self-education. Put family ahead of work. As much as you can, create a balance between family and work. And then focus on your health and nutrition. Some people are not very good with that. Become an entrepreneur. I've explained in the first class that you don't need to quit your job to become an entrepreneur. All right? You don't need to quit your job to become an entrepreneur. Every job actually provides us an opportunity to discover the entrepreneur in us. But unfortunately, most of us that don't drive with vision will only end up becoming ambitious rather than seeing the platform as a way. Instead of seeing the platform as a way of growing to becoming much more relevant, we only look at the platform as just an avenue to get income, which is not too good. Then execute your daily plans. Successful goal setting and achievement. Be well-informed or well-informed goal setting statement. Goal statement as a basis for the entire process till the goals achieved. Set well-informed goal statement. Then breaking goals into manageable steps. All goals must not be achieved at the same time. Set them into smaller units so that you can be able to work on them. Then be able to set consistent motivation and commitment. You must keep passionate, you must be consistent and passionate towards achieving your goals. I have 15 minutes to go. Let's see how to roll it very fast. Then keep reminders and keep tracking on keeping on track. Keep reminders and keep on your appraisals. Please, I will say this very importantly. If you set goals, please check those things you wrote down. I exhaust volumes every year on things that come to my head, goal setting, daily tasks, yearly tasks, monthly tasks, and then we do appraisals. I do appraisals on my goals. So, okay, for instance, if you look, this is IPM 2021. So if you look at what we have here, this is IPM plan for the year 2021, well typed and documented. Then if you check for the first year, We have already started appraisals. We've already, so if you check there, you will see some of the red bids that have started taking place. And we keep on daily looking at these things. Then you will see some of the red bids happening there. These things keep changing. And that's why we need to be flexible with our so if there are goals that are no longer becoming realistic this year, you begin to rework them. If there are strategies that you think you wanted to use and the strategies have been obstructed, then you begin to rework them, all right? So these are very, very important. Then we have what we call the map. So like here you have our map for the year. So you look at something there, 2021 major project. Now, the essence of this about 20 sheets or 30 sheets well-documented material is to help achieve this one-page material. So when we teach you project management or teach you goal setting, we are not just teaching you for you to know. We are teaching you because it is something that is helping us, and it's not just us, it has been helping the whole volume of organizations. For me, every year I exhaust bundles. This is like a bundle that's 10 in 1. So I exhaust about 3 of these in a year, all right? Just on my own personal side. All right, so goal setting, keep reminders, appraise yourself, don't feel bad moving some goals from either forward or backward based on information available to you, all right? Okay, frequent review and reassessment, very, very important. Now, for your goals to experience success, accept and support yourself, very, very important. No matter what, accept and support yourself. Now, quickly, let's look at this case study as we round up. Now, we have, can I have somebody please read this for me? Please, if you can read loud and clear from your end, just raise your hand and I will unmute you. You read for me, please. Let me take a break. Please, if you can read for me, if you can see my screen and you can read from your end, please feel free, just raise your hand. Okay, so Mr. Samuel Ufosu, please kindly read from your end. Kindly unmute and read from your end.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Mr. Richard, a member of senior management staff at a leading store, was given a professional development plan, PDP. The goal of the PDP was to ensure that the store was maintaining excellent customer service and improving company and store sales. The plan, PDP, was built on goal setting theory and included education on how to create smart goals to ensure focused changes could be implemented to improve the success of his store. Halfway through the year, Richard would report his status to his supervisors. If Richard was able to meet the goals he had established, new goals would be created. If the goals were not met by that time, a more in-depth look will be taken to see what changes may be needed to be able to accomplish those goals. He realized that if his store was going to be successful, he would first need to take a look at himself to see if he was reducing his maximum potential, reaching his maximum potential. Therefore, Richard decided to first focus on self-development. He knew that the store would not run efficiently if he was not a successful manager. For each department to be successful, constant improvement needed to be made. Richard felt the success of each department would have a trickle-down effect and enhance the success of the store. Lastly, Richard had to improve his customer service and store sales to make the store's overall performance better. Improving in these 3 areas will give his store a more successful outlook. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. All right, now that we've gone through this case study, please, can we analyze this case study? What are the possible things you can pick out from this case study? Please, not you now, Mr. Samuel. Can we have contributions? Okay, I still have someone's hands up. If Naya Wilberforce, please, since your hand is up, what one thing can you draw up from Dick's Richard's case study? Just one thing in 10 seconds or less. Please kindly unmute and let's hear from you. If Naya. Please, I need more hands up so that we can analyze this together. If Naya, please, if you can hear me, can you unmute and let's hear from you?
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Please go ahead.
Okay, I think what I can pick from this case study, for Mr. Richard to be able to see a bit of success in his appointed duty, he first of all realized that he had to invest in personal development so that it could properly reflect in his job.
Okay, so for him to get the best of his job, he needed personal development. Thank you for picking that. All right, please, Mr. Joseph, welcome once again. Please kindly unmute and let's hear from you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Richard's experience tells us the importance of having an accountability partner.
Okay, so Mr. Richard tells us to have accountability partner. I think that will help us with appraisals. All right, can we have another one, just one more person, and then we will just round up. I have Bimpe, you are giving a thumbs up. Are you raising your hand up, or are you, should I unmute you, or are you, okay, so Bimpe. All right, can we have just one more person to tell us what he, or can we put that in the chat room? Let me get to the chat room. All right, so Esther just said she picked self-development and realization, constant improvement. All right, so Madabuchi say, having gone through the write-up, Mr. Richard have to invest on self-development. All right, and goal setting. All right, so let's quickly round up right now. So from the analysis of what we have here, there must be acceptance and commitment to the goal. Secondly, the goal must be specific in their language and must be directly related to a specific end result. They must be difficult enough to pose a challenge, but not too difficult that they cannot be achieved. There needs to be feedback, of which Mr. Joseph spoke about accountability. There needs to be feedback on when and how the goals were achieved. Now, performance of his store, Richard decided to apply SMART theory concept to this part of the PDP and see what goals can be set to increase the performance of the store he is in charge of managing. The questions listed on the PDP under store performance included: how can I improve overall performance sales, overall store sales? How can I improve average ticket? What can I do to impart customer service? What can I do to improve employee engagement? Now, if you notice on the SMART theory that he used, being specific, Richard decided to conduct multi meetings at regular intervals for his employees so that they can learn more about their department, and also they will also get involved within the company and become a part of it. By being measurable, Richard was taught that if a goal is not measurable, it cannot be achieved. So this is why Richard was going to review the team meetings after 3 months to see if the employees were imputing any ideas to see if their knowledge of their department has improved well. Being achievable, the team meetings were going to be assigned to Richard himself, since he was in charge of the overall employees and he knew the best ways to improve their morale and receive their input. He assigned the task of department knowledge to a team of 10 people who would ensure that each department received the knowledge, training, and expertise in their department. Then, being relevant, the two main goals set forth for store performance was realistic because they could actually happen. They were not goals that would turn people away due to the lack of interest. Then finally, timed. Richard set the timeline to review each goal's progress 3 months. All right, in 3 months. So I will just skip through all of this. So when we get these materials, please let's feel free to get to them. Now, my time, 4 minutes more to go. Thank you, Mr. Patrick. You're doing a great job. All right. Can we do something very simple? From your side, can we quickly screenshot these questions? Can you snap or screenshot these questions? Very, very quickly. Can you snap or screenshot these questions? The first one says, we're looking at goal setting and achievement planning. The first one said, list some of the most important goals that you have for yourself over the next 2 years. Choose one goal that you are strongly committed to and circle the letter for it. Please concentrate on the circle goal for the rest of the questionnaire. So just write 2 most important goals of the year and then find the one that is the most important. Out of the 2 goals, which one will create the most positive impact in your life? Circle that one and let that one form the basis for your questionnaire. All right, so list the goals. Then number 2, what specific things will tell you that you have accomplished this goal? So for that particular goal that will make the most impact, what will you see that will make you feel like you've achieved the goals? Next, how do you know that you are really committed to achieving your goal? And what have you done to prove it? For example, have you taught people? Do you work on it regularly? Have you made sacrifices in order to attain it? If so, what are these sacrifices you have made? So that is still on the most, you're assessing the most important goal for the year. All right, so just focus on one, right? Number 4, how important is this goal to you? In other words, how badly do you want to achieve it? Please rate the importance on this scale. From a scale of 0 to 100, please mark the most relevant appraisal that you will use. Okay, so what specific things will you have to do in order to accomplish this goal? Have you snapped this screen? I trust you have. Snap the next screen also. The next screen says, list as many of the specific obstacles that might hinder you in moving towards your goal, and then write down your thoughts about how they might affect your progress. In what particular ways will you walk through or try to avoid these obstacles? Do you see this goal as consistent with or conflicting with the values of the groups with whom you spend the most time? In what specific ways is it consistent or conflicting? When thinking about your personal life and the way you would like it to turn out, how does this goal lift in or fit in and help you with achieving your career or life goals? And then you have, in what particular ways can you tell that you are doing well or doing poorly in moving towards your goal? List as many of the ways as possible. On a scale of 0 to 100, what are your chances of accomplishing this goal as compared to other important goals that you have had? In other words, is it realistic to expect that you can accomplish this goal? So let's have the scale for yourself. Where will you get help with working towards your goal if you need it? For what problems? And there are several other questions here. Please just keep snapping, snap, snap, and snap. Now, personal goal setting worksheet. Set out, snap this also. Set out your goals from 6 months to 1 year. Let them be your immediate goals. And then set out goals for 5 years. Let them be your short-term goals. And then set out goals for as long as 10 years. Let them be your long-term goals. All right. So this is just a template. Please, you can modify it to suit your own. If your own goals is 0 to 3 months for immediate goals, please write them down. If your short-term goals is maybe 4 months to 6 months or 4 months to 12 months, please write that down. If your long-term goals is from 12 months to 48 months, please write that down according to your own discretion. And also on personal worksheet, list 3 important goals of your life right now. List family members, friends, and co-workers who can help you meet up with your goals. What could get in your way in trying to accomplish your goals? Then when do you start working on your goals? And what actions do you take to meet with your goals? Okay. All right, because of time, I will just have to skip and stop here. All right, I'm just 1 minute behind schedule. Please, can I get someone, a fast reader, to help us read this summary? Please, a very fast reader, please help us read the summary. Please, a very fast reader, just raise your hand, read the summary first. Okay, Mr. Joseph, please go ahead.
Goals are short term, medium term, and long term. Personal goal setting helps in moving steadily towards achieving the result you really want. 3, personal goal setting helps in boosting self-esteem, confidence, and belief in your ability to make things happen and feel in control. 4, goal settings reduce stress and anxiety and make you focus on your goals. 6, it shows more self-confidence in you and make you feel better in each task.
All right. Thank you so much. And this is the end of the class. Please, timekeeper, can I take, and my co-lecturer, please, sir, can I take just 3 minutes to summarize this class? 3 minutes, just one question, and that will be all. Please, if there is any question, just one question, just one question. If there is any question, if there is any comment, just one question or one comment, and I will hand over. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, if there are no questions, I would like to say a very big thank you for attending my own section of the class today. I trust you learned something. Okay, someone is raising hand. My 3 minutes is going so fast. All right, please go ahead, sir. Mr. Joseph, your hand went up and came down. All right, so I think we'll just stop it here. All right, so thank you so much for your time. I sincerely appreciate this. You have been so wonderful. And I sincerely believe that all of this we are learning will not just fall in the category of knowledge. It will help us to advance in life. It will help us to make the best of life and get to be much more happier and much more relevant to our world. All right, so if you are just joining the class for the first time, so please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then feel free to also give us a 5-star rating on our Google pages. I'll be inviting our next speaker or our next lecturer who will be driving us on the next class, which is on anger management. Anger management. Dr. David Oluwaseyi David. Dr. Oluwaseyi David is going to be the one taking us on this course. He's a doctor in administration. So I'll be handing over to him from here, and his lectures are very electrifying. I believe this moment is going to be an awesome moment for us all. After his lecture, we will go on a break, and then we decide whether we'll come back by 5 o'clock to round up by 6 or not. So I'll be handing over here. Thank you so much, sir, and welcome to the class.
Thank you so much, Dr. Banito. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you from here, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for that electrifying lecture. I've said it before that